Hockey Town, it's a place where dreams are found. We fought so many battles here, now we're the ones that they will fear. The cup resides within our town, we won't stop no letting down. The cup is ours for all to drink, it's our time, let's rock this ring.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Hockey Town Rundown. You're here with us once again, Derek and Zach. Derek, it's going to be a fun one today. It's going to be a quick one because it's late Sunday night. It is 5:51 p.m. Late for us. Old timers, I guess.
I mean, we're getting close to bedtime, so it's okay.
Very close, yes. How's your Sunday so far?
Man, just been traveling a lot. Had a wedding yesterday. That was fun. Knew nobody there, but, you know, we got invited last minute, and I can't say no to a wedding in an open bar, so I was there.
Aren't those classic? The ones that you don't know anyone except for your day, and you're just like, well, okay, I'm sticking to you like glue.
It's like, don't leave me. Otherwise, I'm going to be awkwardly talking to somebody I probably shouldn't.
And the only time that you do is when you have to go to the bathroom. I hope, at least. But anyways, let's move on from that, Derek, and let's talk about what we're going to go over today. And we're going to go ahead and do the Detroit Red Wings 2024 NHL Draft review of their picks, and we'll cover some of the other things that happened during the draft as well, some of the trades, some of the weird picks that were made, or amazing picks, whatever you want to call them. There was some pretty interesting stuff that happened this draft, Eric. And right before we started recording, we mentioned how this was probably one of the more interesting drafts that we have witnessed in our lifetime, which is awesome to say. I was very pleased and very happy with the results of this. There was a lot of action. I guess the one that I have to compare it to is the one from last year in Nashville, because I went to that one and there were no trades. It was very slow moving too. And this draft seemed to move a lot quicker. And then we're also going to talk about free agency updates and then cover obviously all the rumors surrounding Jacob Trouba, Patrick Kane, and then obviously Steven Stamkos, Stammer. So Derek's guy, I think we all have come to agreeance that we're all going to get Stamkos's jersey if and when he does sign with the Detroit Red, which does seem to be very possible, Derek. He's not going to sign with them after they moved all that cap. But before I jump into that rabbit hole, let's just go ahead and talk about the draft. And we did a mock draft, Derek, and we got the first two picks right. So
yay for us.
I don't know what I was expecting. I knew we were going to be very far off, but I'm looking back at it right now in the first couple picks, or actually the first 9 picks, you know, it's very interesting the way that it went. I mean, clearly we were going to be wrong with the Anaheim Ducks pick. I thought they were going to go defense. I think you might have mentioned that they were going to go Demidov if you had picked for them, which you did not. But Beckett Seneca, greatest draft reaction of all time by a player selected in the NHL draft. Do you think, Derek?
I mean, definitely the most heartfelt one I've ever seen. I mean, I don't think anyone expected Anaheim to pull that one out of their pocket right at the 3rd pick and ruined probably everybody's draft order at that moment. But I'm happy for him. His family was happy. He was happy. It's a really cool thing to see someone who's supposed to go that much later get picked in the top 5 right away. So his reaction pretty much made it all a lot better for me, because obviously I'm used to the drafts now and I get a little bored watching them. So that was nice.
It was, it was absolutely fantastic. His reaction, very happy for him. I'm very ecstatic for him, more than I probably should. Pat Verbeek, I think he definitely stunned a lot of people, very much so, like Steve Yzerman did with selecting Moritz Seider 6th overall. So the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, right, Derek? So Pat Verbeek definitely took a page out of Steve Yzerman's book there. And, you know, it's easy to say he could have traded back and selected that player, maybe around like 5 to 7 or something like that. But if you love a player and you have the chance to take them, just take them. And that's exactly what the Ducks did there. And can you really blame them? Because I can't. And Derek, are you surprised that the Columbus Blue Jackets took Caden Lindstrom? Because we had Caden Lindstrom going to Montreal. You selected them taking Demidov. So what were your thoughts on that real quick?
Well, apparently those back injuries aren't that big of an issue going forward right now if he's getting picked where he did. I mean, he's a great player. He's massive, good 200-foot, great shot. I'm like, if those back issues weren't going to be a thing, and obviously they weren't, it does make sense he went this early. I mean, obviously we were one off. So I'm not too upset with that.
No, and how upset, because you did bring this up in the mock draft, that the city of Calgary will burn if Tij Ginla does not get selected. So are they upset with Utah Hockey Club right now for selecting him at 6th overall?
I mean, Utah's pulling out some big guns right now, making all the trades, getting all the picks. I'm like, well, might as well piss off a whole entire city. That's okay too. Take their beloved child.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Just bring it up. The Tampa Bay Lightning traded Mikhail Sergachev to the Utah Hockey Club. It's that one that frees up cap for Tampa Bay, which people automatically assume they want to keep Stamkos because the rumor was that he wasn't going to sign. The rumor is still now he's still not going to sign with them. He still could, but it does not seem likely because they also just traded for Jake Gensel today. But adding Sergachev to Utah Hockey Club, Derek, that team was going to be decent going into next season without it. Adding someone like him to their back end, I could see them making the playoffs. They made a couple of other moves too. They're looking very scary. So I would look out for them this year for sure. They're a team that's looking to compete very quickly. It's almost kind of like a Vegas effect, right? Where it's this new team. I know they're not an expansion team, but the ownership is like, let's do this right. Let's do it right for a long time. And then we'll not worry about it later, a rebuild when it comes time, but let's be good for the fans because we owe it to those OG fans, the Yote fans. So that's my take from that.
I mean, their defense right now is going to basically mimic Carolina's. I feel like no one's going to score on them. So,
well, we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe they'll do a lot of goal scoring too. And then you got Seattle taking Berkeley Kenton. I like that pick. In terms of, New Jersey Devils, Anton Salayev didn't go until number 10. He was the number 1 ranked international skater for all skaters and then for defensemen as well. So that's a very good pick for the New Jersey Devils. And then San Jose Sharks got Sam Dickinson. So they got Celebrini and Sam Dickinson. Minnesota, I think they walked away with Bouillon very late. So they got a really good pick late at number 12. Flyers, I don't know what, Derek, Jet Luchanko? What? I want you to get that jersey, my guy. Please.
I mean, I hope they put his full name on there because that's actually just sweet. Barely know who this guy is, and he went a lot earlier than I thought, but I was like, nice.
And then just kind of moving forward, you get up to the Red Wings pick because you watch the Buffalo Sabres take Konsta Helenius and the Detroit Red Wings. You had names like Michael Brandzak-Nygaard on there. You had Tarek Parashak. You had Trevor Connolly. You had Cole Yzerman. You had Michael Hagee. Stein Stolberg. You had some really good names up on this board, and the Red Wings ended up going with the player that we actually selected in our mock draft, Derek, Michael Brandzak-Nygaard. I will admit, I was not upset, maybe just disappointed, but I should be disappointed in myself and not in Yzerman because I'm not. That I had my hopes up that Yzerman would go off course and select someone more one-dimensional like Cole Yzerman, and he didn't. He went with not the safe pick, although it is a safe pick. It's a good pick. There's nothing wrong with it. Being safe does not make it a bad pick because he will be a top 6 player. I believe he can play the right wing behind Lucas Raymond in the top 6. I think his shot is a lot better than people give him credit for. And that's what MBN told them when asked what his best trait is. He told them his shot. And when they said that to Yzerman, he's like, oh yeah, he can rip it. He can rip the puck. Like, it is on video of Steve Yzerman saying that. Oh yeah, he rips it. So I'm very happy with the pick. There's nothing to hate here. Derek, what's your thought on the pick real quick, MBN?
Well, it's an Yzerman pick, that's for sure. And everybody called it. We can't just take the only credit. Like, everybody, any mock draft everywhere, even if you weren't a Red Wings fan, they knew Michael Brandzak-Nygaard was going at 15. So my hopes weren't ungodly high, but like you said, there was a lot of good names there that I was hoping that Yzerman might jump to, maybe taking a little bit more of a risk. But Hellenius, I wish. Brasnik Nygaard, not a bad pick at all. He's going to be, like you said, a top 6 player, no doubt. He has already the size, already the skill set. I'm not going to be surprised we won't see him over in about a year or two in the AHL and possibly playing some games, just because I feel like out of a lot of people, he might be one of the most NHL ready players already. So I like it.
Yeah, and he's a big boy. I know. Well, they must have updated it here because I had different previous the draft, but on Elite Prospects now, they must have updated it. They have him as 6'1", 207 pounds. He's a very sturdy boy. He has the same frame as Nate Danielson, Derek. So, yeah, someone like this, he already has the frame. He already plays in a pro men's hockey league. He's going to play with ASP over there in Skellefteå, however you pronounce it, in the Swedish Hockey League. He put up 19 points in 41 games. I have it right in front of me. I don't know why I'm second guessing myself. 18 points in 41 games in the Hockey Allsvenskan for Mora IK. And then he played 7 games in the J20 National League, Derek, and he put up 12 points in 7 games. But in 12 playoff games in the Hockey Allsvenskan, he put up 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. So he's a very good player. So he isn't. He's very north-south skater, but he flies down those lines when he gets the puck and gets down them, and he rips the puck, Derek. Like he's really good at shooting from anywhere on the ice, which is really great to see, right? He can go in front, he can go anywhere that you want him to, get in those greasy areas. He can do it along the boards, he can do it in the faceoff circle, he can do it near the blue line, he can do it just poking at the goalie right in the stomach, and then somehow the puck falls in there, just I think, well, hold on. What I should say is I know this. He automatically becomes the top winger prospect for the Detroit Red Wings in their prospect pool. He's well above Carter Mazur at this point, personally, to me. I believe that. And I think a lot of people could agree with that. And at the age of 18 years old, this is someone, and like you said, yeah, it's probably going to be a year. It's probably going to be 2 years, more than likely, because, yeah, he will probably go over to play with the Grand Rapids Griffins if he has a good year this year after this year. So what do you notice about MBN though, Derek, that does excite you when he does make the Detroit Red Wings, or when he does make the jump, or even right now? What do you like out of it? I do like that he is playing with ASP this upcoming season.
I was about to say, that's going to be a very nice thing, especially if they both come over at the same time. It's like, well, you guys got a year together under your belt already. You already know your system. You know how each other play. I can't be arguing that at all, but I just like the fact that he's a strong power forward, a 200-foot player. He goes back and forth. We were kind of like depicting him as a young Daddy P out there, but with better skating. So, I mean, you just can't argue those kind of factors coming in. Like, Braun was a great player. He has great hands. He has great compete. He can take shots. He can rip the bar down when he needs to. And you just add this great amount of skating and actual size and force. I don't know what the kid's going to be able to do, but the way he already produced in the men's league over in Mora IK, I feel like he's going to do great switching over to the NHL. So we'll see, especially this year after his year in the SHL. Hopefully something really nice comes out of that.
What I hope really out of him is if his ceiling can be what Lucas Raymond was just this year, not what Lucas Raymond can be progressing forward. If Michael Brandzik Newgard, however you say it, I got to learn it. I got to hear it a couple times. If he just becomes what Lucas Raymond was this season, I would be ecstatic with that if that was his career, like a 60, 70 point guy, Derek, who can put up 30 goals. I would be okay with that. That's your top 6 player? Hell yeah. On the right wing.
Second line arena right there. Like, that's all you need. All you need. That's more than what you need usually. And if that ends up panning the way it is,
and then the fact that he can do everything else too. He's not just the point getter, right? He can forecheck, he can back check, he can lay the hits, he can, stick lift. He can do everything and anything that you want him to do because he has that compete level. And that's another reason why Yzerman wanted him and Draper wanted him. And I'm sure Cronwall was seeing it in him too. when he was scouting some players over there. So it's going to be a lot of fun for us to watch him and ASP playing together. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the development of his career moving forward. And who knows, Derek, sometimes all it takes is one great camp. Maybe we see him in a year. I'm not saying this year, but maybe we see him in a year.
Oh, God. If we had somebody that was that good out of the draft just pop into the lineup right away, especially in our Red Wings team that isn't bottom tier anymore. We're more so mid-grade to up, getting back to upper tier. But if you can crack that lineup right away and the 15th pick, oh, that means you have something special.
Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. And to continue on with the NHL draft, you keep moving down. Like I said, I mean, you got with St. Louis, this is when you start. I mean, if you want to go back and watch our live draft stream that we did, you know, we kind of kept on talking about Cole Yzerman a little bit, and teams continue to pass him along. St. Louis, they take Adam Juracek. Washington Capitals, they take my boy, Tarek Parashak. I think that's a great pick. Chicago Blackhawks even pass on him. Vegas Golden Knights, they select Trevor Connolly, the one who has the off-ice issues, right? Or so people say, you know. So then you get to the New York Islanders. Finally, congratulations, Matt. your GM Lou Lamoriello selected Cole Yzerman. But that's you know, and I was watching Win Wheel Pod today, and Brad Crisco, he made a really good point. So I'm sorry, Brad, I'm stealing this and putting it on our podcast, but it almost kind of seems like an Oliver Wahlstrom situation again, where they're going for that one-dimensional player, right? And you just bank, or you hope that it banks in for you, right? And that you cash in. So that's probably the concern with a lot of general managers, organizations, and teams right now is his overall game. What is that? He can score. We've seen the Red Wings draft players like that. Derek, do you remember Timu Polkanen?
Oh, just a little bit.
The guy with the hardest shot ever in the history of hockey, so to say. You know, so it's tough, you know, but that's the Islanders to decide. And for them, that was a risk worth taking with the 20th pick. They had nothing to lose because they don't have any other prospects, so might as well swing for the fences. And that's Lou. Who knows how much longer he's going to be there in the organization or on this planet. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm sorry. That was kind of mean. Sorry, Lou.
Hey, he's still around, so it's okay.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it was just very shocking. Someone who, I mean, Derek, you like around this time, probably last year, maybe a year and 2, 3, 4 months ago, he was supposed to be the second overall pick, projected to be. So it's very strange to see someone go from 2 all the way to 20 like that. Maybe there's more. I don't know. Do I really care at this point? No, because he's not a Detroit Red Wings. So if I wanted to ask these questions a little more in depth, I would be asking it if he was selected by the Red Wings. So not right now.
I mean, it's one of those things like his ceiling is ungodly high if he hits, but his floor could be ungodly low if that goal scoring does not pan out for him.
That's a muddy floor, buddy.
It's a rough thing to play with. It's either you're going to hit it out of the park or you're going to smack it right into the pitcher's face and he's going to catch it. I don't know what you want there. I was willing to go for it because obviously the goal scoring is the one thing the Red Wings need drastically. But we'll see what Steve has in place coming up here. So,
yeah. You know, I'm really upset that Montreal had a really good draft because with their second pick at 21 overall, they selected Michael Hagee or Hage. So they got Demidov and Hagee, so 2 really good players. They one of the better teams in the draft to walk away for sure. Anaheim Ducks, same thing. They got Seneca, and then they got Stein Stolberg at 23. Utah had another pick at 24, which is awesome. Boston Bruins made a first-round pick after that pick got traded 3 times, and yeah, Carlos player, Liam Greentree didn't get selected until 26th overall. You know, and then that was pretty much the first round. Not too much outside of that, really. The Edmonton Oilers picked the final pick. They selected Sam O'Reilly. So yeah, that was
really
the draft
too.
Yeah, that was the draft for the first round. And so for the Detroit Red Wings, I mean, outside of Michael Bransek need guard, you go into day 2. Derek, I watched this draft. I missed the I think missed this pick. Maybe I'm wrong. I just can't remember because it was so long. But with the 47th overall pick, the Detroit Red Wings select Max Planta, I think is how you pronounce it. It might be Plant. It might be
I was going
Planty.
Planty, but you know,
okay, yeah,
that's
Planty.
my second grade reading level coming out right there.
Yeah, he comes out of the United States National Development Program, the U18 team. He is a center with them, pure playmaker. Derek, this is what you drafted him for, because that is his upside, and that's okay. Because can you name me one other playmaker the Detroit Red Wings have in their prospect system right now?
In our prospect system, oh, that's a good one. Maybe Danielson.
That would probably, yeah, and he has more of a scoring touch to him too. So
he's the best of both worlds at that point. But yeah, he's probably the closest on like the whole playmaking aspect. I would consider the closest that we have. So not a bad pick for a second rounder.
Yeah, so going more in depth about Max, I mean, 5'11", 176 pounds, born in Minnesota, Hermantown, Minnesota. What a town to be born in. Yeah, overall consolidated ranking on Elite Prospects, I had him at number 72. He was ranked as high as number 33 by Craig Button. So that's, like I said, the reports are that he has as good of playmaking as Macklin Celebrini are right behind him. So this is the upswing pick that Steve Yzerman took, and he typically doesn't make these kinds of upswing picks. And so I'm very happy with this pick. I think, like we just said, there really is no one else except maybe Nate Danielson that is a pure playmaker, but this is the pure playmaker that the Red Wings could use in their lineup in the future. I don't know when this player could be on the Red Wings. 2 at the earliest, 3, probably more looking at 4 years. It just really all depends. So we're just gonna have to wait and see with this one. But yeah, Derek, with the NTDP, he put up 61 points in 51 games, 15 goals, 46 assists. His shot's not the greatest, but he really didn't shoot that much. So there's not too much that we know about his shot. So this could be a pick that just comes out of nowhere for us. Eventually, those do happen. And the Red Wings have yet to find that second round pick that can do that outside of Janus Berggren, but he wasn't an Yzerman pick. So wait to be seen type of player, right? But I think he could be a middle 6 guy in the future.
I mean, I like his production. It's a good playmaking era, like 15 goals, 46 assists for 51 games, 6 goals, 23 assists in the juniors. And then at the USA under 18, 2 goals, 9 assists in 11 or 7 games. It's like that production really does speak for itself. Like, you know what you're getting with him. And that's the one thing that the Red Wings definitely needed too, on top of, people that can actually put the puck in the net consistently. But hopefully that'll help with that issue. I hear he's very good, especially with those backhand passes, just getting comparable to Crosby up in there, which I'm like, okay, I'll take a Crosby comparison real quick. I mean, it's a second round pick. He's a good player. It's just future will tell us. He's playing at the University of Minnesota, so he's going back home for a couple of years, play college. So let's see how that development goes for him. Especially Minnesota's a good team. I wish it was U of M so we could just sit here and watch him, but I get it. It's a good program. I'm not upset with where he's going. So,
is it just Minnesota or is it Minnesota Duluth? I can't remember.
It's Minnesota Duluth. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Okay. Yeah. No, you're exactly right though. Good hockey program. So yeah, that's going to be fun for him to go back home to his state of Minnesota to go play hockey, and so it's going to be sweet. And then for the third pick, you got Andre. I'm going to call him Betcher. I don't think it's Becker. We know a Becker, and he doesn't spell it that way, so I'm not going to disrespect my boy like that. I'm going to call him Andre Betcher or Beecher. So, yeah, 20 years old. He's an double overager, Derek. He came from the Czech League and then went over to the WHL in his first season in the W, which was not this past season, the season before, the 22-23 year. In 63 games, 16 goals, 22 assists for 38 points, 3 points in 9 playoff games. Not the greatest, but you're probably acclimating to North American ice at that point, right? At the age of 18, 19 years old. Then you go into this season and boom, you come out on the scene out of nowhere. I mean, and that was a very good Prince George Cougars team in the WHL. 58 games, 32 goals, 64 assists for 96 points, and then 19 points in 15 playoff games. I'm not mad at this pick whatsoever. It's a 3rd round pick. I'm kind of at the point now, Derek, where I just am like, hit on the first rounders. Do your best to hit on the second rounders. Anything else after that, it's free piece of candy. I think this kid was a free. I think this kid was a free piece of candy. Someone who could jump. There's a good chance that he could play for the Grand Rapids Griffins this season if he puts up a good enough camp because of his age. Why are you upset with that? You shouldn't be. So very good.
Just watching his production too. It's like going from 1 year in WHL, then over doubling your point total the next year. He really was getting acclimated to the ice, and we don't know what the next year after this, if he's just going to continuously rise up in the rankings like that and actually pull out to be a crazy 3rd round pick. That's possible. The skill set looks to be there. Very dynamic player, very good with his edge work, very good with his reading the ice. So time can tell, but you're right. He could make that jump to the AHL being 20 years old. So,
yep. Beats defenders with one-on-one pace, has a good one-timer, sees the ice all right. So a bit of a project, but the fact that he's already, he knows how to skate. He's found his stride. He's already in his age where he's kind of already in his body. He's so used to it already. So everything's kind of already there. And so it's just a late bloomer type of thing. And so, yeah, this is a swing. And so hopefully it's a good swing and it's a home run swing. If he just ends up being a bottom 6 forward, Derek, I think that's a hit for a 3rd round pick for me personally. So,
from last draft, Red Wings, I can't say it wouldn't be a bad thing.
And then for the 4th pick, the Detroit Red Wings select. Oh, I just passed it. Landon Miller, 126th overall, goalie from the Sioux Greyhounds, 6'3", 176 pounds. That's a tall boy, and so not the greatest stats, Derek. But I feel like that this could be a sneaky pick. Yzerman did say that he didn't draft him just because he wanted to draft a goalie. I'm sure that there was a reason why. I just can't remember what exactly he said, why he drafted this player, but I'm sure for good reason, and so, it's never a bad thing to stock up on goalies, especially tall ones that are 6'3", and that are 194 pounds. So yeah, his stats, 30 games played, 279 goals against, and 889 save percentage, 17-6 record. He played in one playoff game, and it looks like that he made,
I think it was 8 saves.
8 saves?
Yeah, he was a relief on that. So
okay. Okay. He posted 2 shutouts, in the regular season. So, obviously the goalies are weird, and, yay for size. So 4th round pick. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm really I don't know about this guy. Goalies are weird.
It could be a crazy good pick. It could just be someone that might peter off in the system. We never know. Goalies always get picked really late in the rounds sometimes, and could blow up. It's not a Kosa, but
It's not a Kosa. It's not a Trey Augustine, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Like I said, goalies are voodoo. 4 to 5 years, we never know where he's going to be at, right? But then you move on to John Whipple, because the Detroit Red Wings just keep on getting the USNTD players on their mind, and John Whipple's going to the other Minnesota college, Derek, actually this year, which is pretty cool. But yeah, John Whipple, a defense, the first defenseman taken for the Detroit Red Wings out of their first 5 picks. So 6'1", 194 pounds, shoots left. He, let's see here. Yeah, for the USNTDP in 61 games, 17 points. Pretty sure this is, he's a sturdy defenseman that can backpedal, maintains his speed, You can beat players on the rush or join the rush. I feel like, or no, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Just a really good defensive defenseman. I'm just kind of talking out my butt at this point because these picks are just so late now that I don't know any of them. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So whatever I see or I read, that's what I'm going to say for some of these guys. Derek, what do you think about Whipple, the Whipple boy?
I love that little explanation you gave there. But you're right. Later picks get a little bit harder to make sure that you know everybody, especially when you get to 176 or something. 144 for Whipple. I think 176 is our next one. But he's a good defenseman. He's a defensive defenseman. I mean, obviously the point production, not really there. But at the same time, when you're that good as being a defenseman and not letting people get past you, not letting those goals go in, that's really what you want to see. And he uses his body a lot. He has good foot speed. So that's something that is pretty valuable in a defenseman. I do wish it wasn't another left-handed D. That's my only little gripe about this one because of the log jam down in Grand Rapids right now. But I don't know. We could see somebody with a tremendous amount of skill that stops everybody from getting past them, even McDavid at some point. So not a bad pick, especially on the 5th in the round. So I'll take it.
Thanks for covering the bases for me. I don't know why I had a brain fart with this player, so thank you for covering for me. I'll cover for you on Charlie Forsland, who is the next pick, who was taken 176th overall, who is a left wing, who played for Falu IF of Hockey. Hockey Etten. Not very familiar with this, but it is a Swedish hockey league. In the 19 games, he was a point per game player. He did play for the J18 team last year, 26 games, 36 points put up. So it's better than his peers. In the J20, he was over a point per game. He was over a 2-point per game player there, where he put up 16 points in 7 games. So yeah, he's well above his peers. He's supposed to be playing for Mora IKJ20 this upcoming season. Maybe he goes and plays for the Hockey Allsvenskan team. That's what it seems like, since he already outplayed in the J20 last season. So, but yeah, 6'3", 212 pounds, big boy. So, Elmer Soderblom 2.0, Derek? Just not as
I wouldn't be upset with that. Obviously, I'd like to see the more production side of the Elder Soderblom out there, but I mean, I can't really speak too highly of anything on this, but at the same time, the FOLA IF League kind of, I think, is similar to maybe like the OHL in American League. It's like the 3rd division over in Sweden, so not crazy high ranking there for him, but at the same time, his point production was outstanding. Over a point per game player in every league he was in, from the FOLA J18, J20, then the actual IF. So, and the Hockey Eaton, I believe, was his team, the league that actually got taken over this year. So it's kind of weird. A lot of stuff happened with that. I think that league that they were in previously went under, and they got brought in because they were actually good enough in a promotional standpoint where the top 2 get moved up to the next league, and the bottom people get pushed down, kind of like soccer or football, wherever you're watching.
Get relegated. Or as my buddy Jeff always likes to say, get regulated, because he doesn't know how to use words properly, like me.
I mean, the English language is so hard sometimes, let's be honest. But yeah, that's kind of how that worked. And I believe they finished second from, I don't think I have that up anymore. But yeah, I think second they finished in the league. So they got brought up to the new league while their old league got disbanded, I'm pretty sure. So good for them. That's nice to see.
Yeah, but elite prospects, they have here for Forsland. He's got some credibility as a dual threat scorer. His shot really stands out. It's its most potent weapon with a wicked release, but he has a knack of getting into soft ice areas and creating opportunities with it. So just kind of, a lot of these picks you go down the road, there's going to be things that they have to work on. And so it doesn't seem like the most difficult thing to work on with someone, right? If that's kind of his knack, is getting to better areas on the ice and reading the ice a little bit better. I think just the right coaching, right? You'll figure that out along the road. Hopefully.
It's going to be just see how he does, see where he gets pushed up in the leagues. He most likely will need to get out of that league he is in and get pushed up into something a little bit higher, probably the Swedish 2 or 1 league, to actually start making an impact. But you never know. After this year, you might see him in the SHL, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong Austin Baker. I did that after that he got drafted, and I was like, this can't be him. He's way too small. He's 5'8". The Red Wings don't draft players like that. No, Austin Baker is the next player that the Red Wings did draft, 203 overall. He's 6 foot, 192 pounds. He's from White Lake, Michigan. He's coming out of the USNTDP program. So another player. A lot of people really like this pick, Derek. Very good skater with decent skill. Good tempo with his game. He can create around the net front. Hockey sense. Limited. A little bit smaller, 6 foot. Got to put on some size a little bit. So can he be an NHL player? We'll have to wait and see. But in 59 games, he put up 31 points. He's going to play with MSU this year, so he's going to be close to home for the Red Wings to be able to watch him and see how he progresses. And he's going to be with Trey Augustine and Red Savage. So he's with other Red Wings prospects as well. So I think there's lots to like about this pick. A little smaller, but how can you progress? Hopefully he can. He's going to a really good program at MSU. So
I mean, it's nice to see, especially like since we see the rankings, he was going as high as 71 at one point. Obviously, the low was at 237, but he's really just all over the board. You really don't know what you're going to get with this guy, but if he improves his game a little bit, it seems like he's more of a straight line kind of player. Barry uses his speed to push the defenseman, doesn't really have the edge work, but these are all things you can improve on. And obviously, in the 7th round, you're not expecting much. But if we have somebody that blows up, especially going to university, going to state here, that wouldn't be too bad. They have a good program, like you said. So we'll all just have to wait and see how these last couple guys all pan out, really.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Fisher Scott, selected 208 overall. I know nothing about this guy other than his size and where he's going to play and where he did play at. So he's 6'2". He's a defenseman, 179 pounds, shoots left, not shooting right like Derek wants. He's going to Colorado College. He's coming out of the USHL for the Dubuque. Oh, boy, Fighting Saints. He wore an A. 33 points in 61 games, so not bad point production for a defenseman, honestly. Hope you make it, bud.
Colorado College, not a bad school to go to. Not the one that just won the, NCAA championship, but again, left wing defenseman needs to get some weight on him. That's for sure. I feel like at 6'2", 180 pounds, you're getting a little skinny there, but they're 18 years old. Him, 19, I believe, but got time to put that weight on. See what you can do out there, buddy. Hopefully that left wing or that left shooting defenseman doesn't really hurt you there in the Red Wings system. But again, we'll see what happens with that logjam. What happened?
All right, and that is the draft review for the Detroit Red Wings and partially for some of the other teams of the first round. And a little bit of breaking news from Elliot Freeman from about 8 minutes ago, 6:27 p.m. It's 6:35 p.m. currently as we are recording. Where tonight there is momentum growing on Patrick Kane return to Detroit. We will see where it goes. So, Derek, right now, what is your prediction? I am calling a 3-5. I'm going 3-5.
Wow, man, a 3-year mark though. That's the one thing that I feel like that's the only thing that's keeping this deal from getting done. Because I know, Sorry, you know exactly what I'm going to say, Zach. Because Steve is not the type of man who wants to give a 3-year deal to someone who's 36 years old. I'm sorry.
I don't know why. Just do it. Just give it to the man. Let him be your leader for a while with Larkin.
Honestly, even just with his veteran presence out there, he really doesn't keep the production up that he had this year. Just being able to teach all these young prospects coming up.
Yeah,
it's almost just worth the money spending on it, keeping them around for the years. You can't say no to the top American-born player. Like, it's hard to jump over that hurdle.
And I get it. It's probably like, hey, I'm paying you to be productive for 2, and then for the third, I'm paying you for your brain. I'm sure that's probably tough for you as a general manager. Come out and say that, but we don't know. We don't know what Patrick Kane is going to be like in 3 years. He still very may well could be half a point per game player, and that is still someone you need on your team with his hockey brain, teaching players like Casper, Danielson, Berggren, if he's still on the team, Ed Vincent. Even he helps out defensive players too because he helps them learn good forward players like how Patrick Kane was in his prime. So it benefits everyone on the team. It helps the players, it helps the coaches, it helps Steve Yzerman, it helps the fans. Everyone is happy. And so let's see where this goes.
I mean, 3x5, Zack, I still can't argue that. I'd probably take it. I'm hoping maybe like a 3x4, save some cat space for, all the bigger deals that we have to sign here still.
Yeah. If it hasn't happened yet, by the time you guys are watching this, please let us know down in the comments what you guys predict Steve Yzerman is going to give Patrick Kane on his extension or re-signing contract that he will be coming back to the Detroit Red Wings. And Derek, just moving along, let's go ahead and talk about the free agency updates, right? Outside of Patrick Kane, that was one of the players we were going to talk about. Let's talk about some of the other things that happened over the weekend, and news broke out really quickly. We'll just talk on this one really quickly. The Jacob Trouba one. This was a wild fire in Red Wings Twitter sphere and just Twitter in general, Derek. I know you're not really big on Twitter, and I kind of have to force you to go on there every once in a while, but I keep you guys updated in the group chat and everything. But Derek, yes, this was absolute wildfire, like someone smoking a cig in California and tossing it out their window, and boom, news spreads. And something must have happened because it was supposed to happen really quickly yesterday, and it didn't. Elliot Friedman later came out because there was someone who came out about it, right? That Jacob Trouba was going to be retained $2.5 million on his contract. It's $8 million, so it comes at 5.5. The Red Wings get him at 5.5. I'm okay with that. He's an upgrade from Hall. He's an upgrade from Petrie. I'm sold already, right? Are they taking a player back? Are they giving us a pick? What is it, right? The rumor is that they could potentially be the Rangers, Kane, or getting someone like Gensel or making a trade somewhere, right? And so what are your thoughts on acquiring a Jacob Trouba, Derek? I kind of already said it. I'm okay with it. I think this does upgrade the team, and he is someone that you love to have on your team, but he's someone you despise absolutely a lot when he's not on your team. We absolutely don't like Trouba, but I like Trouba when he's with a Detroit Red Wing and he wears that jersey right there.
I mean, at that point, at least I know all the Detroit Red Wings are going to be safe and no one's going to lose a head.
Exactly.
I mean, that choo-choo train, I will get a photo of him flying through the air if he does become a Red Wing and put it on a shirt and just wear that shirt to the Red Wing games, but he's a scary guy. It's a great presence to have. Obviously, it's an upgrade for the D-line. It's at a pretty penny at, 5.5 still? It still hurts. But at the same time, it's better, more leader presence out there. He's younger. He has the agility. He has the grit that that we just really don't have on the Red Wings anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad thing. I'm more interested in the next person we're going to be talking about here, but it's pretty cool to see the fact that we're trying to steal 2 captains away from 2 other teams to bring to our team. So
yeah. And that's what Steve Yzerman wants out of Jacob Trouba, right? Is I'm not asking you really, we want you to put up points, we want you to play defense, but we want you to scare the ever living hell out of the opposing team, because that's what you need, right? Is someone to defend Larkin if he does get injured again, because that does seem to be the recurring theme year after year, or someone like Lucas Raymond, or if you do bring up a Casper, Jacob Trouba will rip their head off. Then you got Moritz Seider following up to rip off his arm. And then here comes O.T. Benny, the overnight assassin, ripping off both of your legs to protect the young players on this Detroit Red Wings team. So I'm very okay with it. Yeah, the 5.5 is a little bit more than you probably want, but it's not.
If they're taking like a Justin Hall with it.
It's for 2 years. I mean, he's better than Sherrod, and I'm not going to say that Sherrod's contract's any better, but it's not that much more. But a little slightly better than Ben Sherrod at least, And so, if you want to go down the road next season, if you want to get rid of one of the two, take your pick. And it's a stopgap until you got ASP ready. So I'd be okay with it. Let us know down in the comments what your takes are on Jacob Trouba potentially becoming a Detroit Red Wing, which very may well could happen. It could have happened already by the time you're watching this. So if it hasn't, let us know your thoughts on it. Or if it has, let us know either way what your thoughts are on it, because he is going to be our second pairing right-handed defenseman on the team if it does happen. Derek, yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into our final player, which is Steven Stamkos. And it's just so weird on how all of this has happened, Derek. Before all the trades, like the Mikhail Sergachev trade, and we didn't even talk about the Tanner Jeannot trade. That's even more cap space that they freed up. It was like $10 million something that they freed up in a mere span of like 20 minutes on the draft day, right? It was like day 2 or day 1, whatever day it was. But before that, everyone was like, there's no way that they're going to get Steven Stamkos to stay, because the rumor was that they offered him a $3 million per year deal for 8 years. I get it. No tax. I get that. But like, what? What? And rumor came out too that they tried doing that to Alex Corrin and he left. So can you really blame Steven Stamkos for leaving? I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but answer that part real quick if you can. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, 3x8. I'm again 34 years old. I don't want to be playing for the 42. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know how he's gonna be at that age, but damn, that's a long time to be committed to a team. I know Kane's trying to get something close to that, but he's a little bit older, and it's gonna be a lot less years. But at the same time, you also still have Steven Stamkos, who's over a point per game player, 40 goals this season alone. Obviously, his line mates are spectacular. You can't really argue Kucherov down there. He's definitely a help to him. But at the same time, the man is still a magician. He is great at his position. He has a crazy one-timer still from the slot. Basically, Ovi 2.0 at that point with that little office they both have. I mean, if I was him, yeah, I'm not going to take a long deal, but little money. Come on, like he has so much more worth. He's still probably gonna be a point per game player the next year or two. And if he regresses, oh no, you're getting a 60 to 70 point Stamkos. Darn.
Oh no. However, will you survive?
A second line. Wait, is he a center? He's a wing, right?
So it's just so weird because a lot of people were saying that he didn't play center, but then a lot of people were saying, okay, well, you look at his faceoff like numbers, like not the percentage, but you look at the amount of faceoffs that he took, and it's like, okay, yes, he did play a fair share of center, and so I think it depends on the situation and matchup, right? So there's that. But yeah, overall, Derek, it's just very confusing that then you go into them making all those moves, trading Mikhail Sergachev, Tanner Jeannot, and you're like, oh wow, they just did everything they could to keep Stamkos. And boy, was I wrong, because today they traded for Jake Gensel and traded away a 3rd round pick just to get the rights to speak to him before July 1st. Free agency opens up at noon tomorrow. That's pretty standard. The 3rd trading for the rights to talk to a player and potentially getting them to sign before they hit the open market. I'm very surprised that they are going this route, but I'm also very not surprised, Derek, because they knew that their window was closing and Stamkos is not getting any younger. You already have a Braden Point who's currently in his prime. You have Kucherov still, who's well over 100 point per game player. You still have Victor Hedman, who's one of the best defensemen in the world. And you still have Andrei Vasilevsky, who's one of the best goalies in the world. So what do? Go out and get Jake Gensel.
I mean, it's the move that makes sense, the most sense for a team so far. I mean, honestly, like seeing that, it's like, yeah, you're pretty much getting a lower grade Stamkos for his prime, but someone who's still going to produce almost a point per game per year.
For longer than what Stamkos currently can do. So I think the Tampa Bay Lightning got better, which sucks for us. I think they got better. And that's weird to say. You lose Stamkos, you think you get worse. I think they got better, which is weird also to say because they lost Mikhail Sergachev. That one still blows my mind. I'm still very confused about that one, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Steven Stamkos. So now this all kind of falls back to Steven Stamkos, Steve Yzerman. Come together.
They're old boys. We have photos of them together. I'm okay with it.
I have my hesitations, though, Derek, because wasn't Steve Yzerman the one doing the song and dance with Steven Stamkos until the last day to get him signed before free agency hit? Is there bad blood there? Probably not.
I mean, if you offer him the right contract at the right money right away, I don't think there's going to be any bad blood.
Also, maybe this doesn't play a role into it, but do you think Steven Stamkos wants to come here where it's cold? They're in the wintertime. He's down there.
You give me enough money,
house and everything, but
yeah, I'm about to say you keep the house. I mean, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be driving your golf cart to the arena anymore. Sorry, but and yeah, property taxes, buddy. Welcome to that. It's a lot of fun.
They're not that bad. There's a lot to do up here, though. I do think that there's a very good shot at us. The Kane thing comes out. Let's see what that looks like. I know a lot of people are nervous that is there actually going to be enough, because we're rumored to everyone under the sun that's in free agency, Derek, right now, right? Is there going to be enough for Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider? As the days keep creeping on, Derek, it's more and more likely that it's either going to be bridge deals or it's going to be the less than 8 to 7 years than we originally thought, which I'm honestly not that upset about that. We did episodes on that. We talked about that quite a few times, that Steve Yzerman, when he was with Tampa Bay, he gave a 3 or 4 year deal to Kucherov. He did that with Victor Hedman as well. So I can most definitely see him doing that with Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. It helps out the team and it helps out the player technically. So if you can save on a little bit of cap now by just giving them a 4 year or 5 year deal and save yourself $1 to $2 to $3 million per year, do it. If you want to be good now, you'll be good later down the line too.
Just got
overall everything I just said, Derek. Sorry. Overall thoughts. Steven Stamkos is a Red Wing.
Of course, I want it more than anything. I would say yes to that 100%, but you might be right on the bridge deals. Like at least one of them at this point, if we get Patrick Kane and Stamkos signed before both of them, there's at least one bridge deal happening. It most likely probably be, I'd say Raymond at that point, just because I feel like we have a lot more to see from him. And he's just scratching at the ceiling right now, and he hasn't even hit the full force. So he might be the most suitable. Mo, I feel like we know what we can get from him at this point, which is a top line D who can go back and forth. So he might be the one that we want to lock down right away. But at the same time, I want to lock them both down for 8 years. It just sucks that it might not happen because the price point for both of them. But at the same time, after those bridge deals, that's when all the guys that we're bringing in now most likely will not be here anymore. And that's going to free up a bunch more money and the cap's going up. So obviously all that stuff plays a factor, and it could still work out tremendously with both being bridged.
So currently right now, as we're recording, Cap Friendly is still currently up. So just under $33 million, the Red Wings have in cap space, $32.7 million. I mean, let's see, you combine Stamkos and Kane, let's say that they equal 13 to 14 of that, right? Let's call it 14. So you still have $18 million left for Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. I mean, if you combine those two, let's say somehow you can get them in like the 13 to 14, and you still got like 4 to 5 mil left to, then you get the Trouba. And then if you can move one more player out to get some younger players up. Here I am trying to play armchair GM mode over here. But I think that there's a world where it could work, where you get all three of these players, Derek. I really do think there is. And some people might not like that because you don't solve the issue in goaltending, but you can't fix everything all in one offseason, unfortunately. But there's still lots of time left, Derek. A lot of things can happen. And so it's going to be a wildfire tomorrow. It's going to be that cigarette in California out the window causing a massive explosion, like I said earlier. So that's what tomorrow is going to be like at noon. I'm super excited. It's going to be a tough day to work tomorrow, buddy.
You know, that's why I'm happy I don't go until 3, so I can just sit there on my watching, seeing what happens.
Well, if we have to make any videos tomorrow, I guess I know I can hit you up right before you have to go into work.
No, fantastic.
Worst case, I do it by myself. It's okay, bud. But yeah, I'm good. I think, I want to hear from you guys watching. I know I never said at the beginning of the video. I probably should have. Thanks for joining us. If you are new, thank you for joining us. If you're returning, thanks for joining us once again. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And then we are on Apple Podcasts finally, so you can listen to us on there. You may be able to watch us too. I know you can on Spotify, but if you're on Spotify as well, go ahead and follow us on there and rate us 5 stars. I don't know what the rating system is on Apple, but rate us if you can rate us. We definitely appreciate that. And so also go on to our merch store. Get yourself a trucker hat. It's very nice and comfortable. I love it. I basically wear it every day now, especially every episode. Derek should definitely get one so he could do it too. Yes, Derek.
What,
yes.
me?
Yeah, him. Yeah, that guy. He's a part-timer. I don't know. Anyways, Derek, yeah, I think I'm good. I like I said, let's just go into final thoughts. My final thoughts are, let's go Red Wings. I really do think that here we go. Update: the Red Wings have extended qualifying offers to Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, Jonathan Berggren, and Joe Veleno. The Red Wings did not extend a qualifying offer to Jared McIsaac, which to me was kind of expected. I didn't think he was going to receive one, but that's good news. At least we got some sort of news. So my final thoughts are, good job, Steve Yzerman, for getting that done, because that did need to get done today. I do think that there is a world out there where you can get all 3, Stammer, Kane, and Trouba. I really do think there is. You're missing out on goaltending, but maybe Ville Husso turns it around. Hopefully. And those are my final thoughts, Derek.
Well, final thoughts are pretty much the same as you, Zach, on this one. Get some signings going. I'm happy to hear a tiny update that at least offers have been sent out to these players. Hopefully, at least 2 of the 4 hit right away. The other 2, I can work with for a minute, But look, Raymond and Mo, I'm a little more interested in them at the moment. But, get everybody signed. I know everyone was hoping for Gibson, but, we'll see what Billy and Line can do next year. I mean, obviously, we didn't even talk about Gibson this episode since we've done it so many other times. And the fact is that's still an option too. So we could have just talked out our asses this whole episode because we might not get none of them. But
yeah.
But let's go Red Wings, Steve. Good luck. See how tomorrow goes. I'll be glued to my phone, so I love it.
As I will too as well. And if you guys don't already, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That will be your main source of entertainment from us. I am the one who moderates our social pages. So yeah, you'll be chatting with me if you guys haven't figured that out yet. But I always like to make it sound like that you're talking to all of us, not just one person. So a little weird, but also not weird. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments, please. I would love to know who does.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But as always, Derek, we want to stop and say thank you to those who stopped by once again. If you are returning, if you are new, thank you for stopping by and listen to us ramble, especially myself. Why don't you go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on all 3 of these players, the draft, everything that we talked about. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We really do appreciate that. But if you're on Spotify or Apple, go ahead and give us a follow. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a thumbs up, whatever's on there. We really do appreciate that. Check out our merch store too. We got t-shirts, we got jackets, hoodies, stickers, all that cool stuff. So, and from here, Derek, we're going to go ahead and send it off. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next one. See ya.
Bye, y'all.